is something that honestly has my heart crushed, and deep frustration in my spirit. An Israeli airstrike in Gaza City late Sunday killed 7 people. Of those 7 people, 5 of them were from Al Jazeera, including well-known correspondent Anas Asharif. Israeli military officials say that Asharif was leading a Hamas cell, a claim that he and the network had denied for months. Al Jazeera says their crew was in a clearly marked press tent. I'm going to say that again, a clearly marked press tent near Al-Shifa Hospital, and the missile hit. Now, if you remember the press, if you're a press group, then you know what it means to be struck in this area, in this territory. And that's why press groups and the United Nations blasted the attack as a grave breach of international law. The Committee to Protect Journalists, says that 186 reporters have been killed since the war began, most of them Palestinian, almost all of them Palestinian. Sharif's last post warned Gaza's voices were being silenced. He leaves behind a wife. He leaves behind 2 young children. He leaves behind a legacy. Sharif is one of many journalists in Gaza who have been killed. I work for Al Jazeera. I'm saying that first as a measure of full disclosure, but also because I want to talk about what it means for our entire Gaza staff to be killed. And that's right, you heard me correct. Every single member of Al Jazeera's Gaza press team, the people that are in the Gaza Strip reporting, every single one of them has passed away. Every single one of them has died. Every single one of them has been killed. Gotta use that language. You know, too often we shield the public, the global community, from the realities of the situation. These people didn't die. I don't care what the Associated Press tells you. I don't care what the New York Times tells you. These people didn't just die, they were killed. I want to read to you all something from Anas's final Twitter post. This is something that came up that I thought was interesting, heartbreaking, all the things, but I want you all to see it. This is a post that he left. This is hard to read, but I will. Anas Asharif, his last Twitter post says, "This is my will and my final message. If these words reach you, know that Israel has succeeded in killing me and silencing my voice. First, peace be upon you and Allah's mercy and blessings. Wa alaikum assalam. Allah knows I gave every effort, all my strength to be support and a voice for my people ever since I opened my eyes to life in the alleys and streets of the Jabalia refugee camp. My hope was that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would extend my life so I could return with my family and loved ones to our original town of occupied El Asqalan or El Majdal. But Allah's will came first and his decree is final. I've lived through pain." So just for some context, what he's saying is, if you don't understand, is that many people in Gaza are themselves refugees. They're living in Gaza because they were kicked out of 48. They were kicked out of what is now modern day Israel during the formation of Israel in 1948. So he wanted to go back to El Majdal. He wanted to go back to Asqalan. He didn't want to be, or Ashkelon, I guess. He did not want to be there, right? That was the hope, to get their land back. The idea of being a Palestinian refugee is not the idea that some people live in this camp or that camp. It's that they all are refugees. they've all been displaced and dislocated. Anyway, he said Allah's will came first and his decree is final. I have lived through pain in all its details, tasted suffering and loss many times, yet I never once hesitated to convey the truth as it is without distortion or falsification. This is what it means to be a reporter. This is what it means to be a journalist. I'm not going to read everything. But you see him giving his will. He said, I entrust you with Palestine, the jewel in the crown of the Muslim world, the heartbeat of every free person in this world. I entrust you with its people, with its wronged and innocent children who never had the time to dream or live in safety and peace. Their pure bodies were crushed under thousands of tons of Israeli bombs and missiles, torn apart and scattered across the walls. He encourages us to speak out. He goes through his entire family. And he finishes with, "O Allah, accept me among the martyrs, forgive my past and future sins, and make my blood a light that illuminates the path of freedom for my people and my family. Forgive me if I have fallen short, and pray for me with mercy, for I kept my promise and never changed or betrayed it. Do not forgive Gaza, and do not forgive me in your sincere prayers for forgiveness and acceptance." So this is our dear brother. This is tough. This is painful. You know, and this is the point that I was making. Well, the point he says the other journalists like Basan and Hind are independent contributors. There are no more AJ staff. AJ staff is gone. We're all gone. We no longer are reporting from there. We're no longer working there. Not because we pulled back, but because they killed us. Every single one of us. And Bathroom said the fact that they're not denying Anas's murder like they did with Shireen. Shireen is Shireen Abu Aqla, who was killed while wearing, again, clearly identifiable press gear. Shireen was a Palestinian American, and so some people were outraged by the Americanness of it all. But for me, obviously, that's not relevant. What's relevant is the fact that she died, that she was killed. They're not denying Anas's murder like they did with Shireen, just immediately justifying it by saying he's Hamas is indicative. They're embracing the label of genociders. You know, this idea that he was a member of Hamas has become a kind of, I mean, it's a lazy kind of defense by Israel at this point, where they just, oh, he's Hamas. Everybody can't be Hamas. Every reporter that has been killed, they say is Hamas, or they weren't killed, or that it was incidental contact. At some point, the global community has understood that that's all BS, that none of this is true, that Israel has killed some of the most vulnerable people in the world in terms of Palestinian. I mean, think about the Palestinian children on incubators. Think about the people in those hospitals. Think about the elderly. But they're also trampling upon the very idea of democracy by destroying any possibility of a free press. So I speak to you as a human being. I speak to you as a human being. I speak to you as a journalist. I speak to you as an employee of Al Jazeera. This is a problem. This is not a problem. This is a crisis, and something must be done about it.